And you're on.
Okay. Good morning. We're here at Yeshiva Tzamanashi. I'm Rabbi Shlomo Furst. It's the first day of Chanukah. Tzamanashi Yeshiva is located in Yerushalayim Mir Kodesh, in the Chanukah Yeshiva's big Knesset on Rehov Zikron Yaakov. We're very close to the central bus station, so you can walk, bus, drive, and if you're coming from Putzlaritz, you're welcome as well. If you fly, well, it's also very important to have you here. You can enjoy the breakfast as well. Cooked fresh every morning. Coffee, all you can drink. So we're experiencing Hanukkah here, the first day. So we're going to learn a little bit about Hallel. Shalom, Boker Tov. Kuf Yud Zayin Amid Aleph in the Gemara in Psachim. You have the wide lines. It's the third line of the wide lines. Tana Rabbanan. Yisrael, would you like to read for us a bit? Yeah. Okay, you have the Gemara there. Tana Rabbanan Halal Zeh Mi Amru.
Tana Rabbanan, coming down to the bottom.
You got it? Yeah. You want to take it?
Halal Zeh Mi.
It's okay.
Tana Rabbanan, Barlo is in the Barisah. Halal Zeh Mi Amru. This Halal, who said it?
Who said this Hallel? The Hallel that the Gemara has been describing, Amudim of Gemara dealing with Hallel in the 10th parak in Arvi Psakim. So the Gemara asks here, the Hallel is Zeh Mi Amru. Who said this Hallel? Let's see how you want to look here.
Mi Amru. Rabbi Elazar Omer. Rabbi Elazar says. So Rabbi Elazar, right?
Yeah, Rabbi Elazar, right?
Moshe Yisrael Amruhu. Moshe Yisrael Daiseret Bashar Sha'amdu Al Hayam.
Oh, so
The time that I was standing on the ocean.
right. So Rabbi Elazar says it was Moshe, and yes, in the and can you say that? I thought it was only stop Moshe coffee.
Wat ben je niet?
Look, guys, the Mercedes. Okay, Mi Omer Hallel Azet. Rabbi Elazar said the first answer that the Gemara gives was the same Rabbi Elazar. There was Moshe and Yisrael. Amru, they said it b'shash sha'amdu al hayam. At the time they were standing on the yam. So we're not going to go into the details now, but there's a whole question in the Meforshim as to there was the shir. Is first of all, is this the what we say the shiras al hayam, right? Because there's shiras al hayam and then there's Hallel. They're completely two different things, right? Right? Az Yashir, right? So the Hallel that we're talking about is not Az Yashir. Number one. Number two is even for the Az Yashir, the question as to whether they said it while they were going through and in the Yam, or when they finally came up and out of the Yam. Okay, but here the Hallel, let's say they said the Az Yashir at one point, and they said Hallel as well, right? So they said it while they were Al Hayam. Now it didn't say B'toch Hayam, right? It didn't say B'toch Hayam, it said Al Hayam. But that's supposed to mean exactly, well, we need to think about that. Haim Amru, what did they say? Go ahead, Yisrael.
Haim Amru.
They said
Lo
Hashem Lo Lanu. They said Lo Lanu, Hashem Lo Lanu. Right?
What's the status?
You're asking a question. What's the whole meaning of Lo Lanu, Hashem Lo Lanu? When we say that, when we say
The piece before that has it. It says
Yisrael Mitzrayim, right? So it says Yisrael Mitzrayim. So then they said Lo Lanu.
So then it's a continuation.
Very good.
So
Yeah,
we'll
Yud Zayin.
Just wanted to just make an announcement if anybody heard it.
We have an announcement here, please. 1 second. Yeah.
My wife's brother who's 92 years old in the United States, died 2 days ago, so she's sitting Shiva. But Baruch Hashem, she's fine, and it's not easy. So I'm saying Kaddish because the father of this is a big doctor in the United States. He's too busy and he doesn't, he's not religious, so I'm going to be saying Kaddish for the next year.
Okay.
Anyway.
Sirs Tovus.
Yashikowak, sorry.
Yeah.
Oops. What did I do?
No, I'm good.
Find the light switch, don't worry about it. It's Hanukkah, but we're not really in the dark. We're in Kuf Yud Zayin, Gemor Psachim, the 10th parak in Psachim. Right? Kuf Yud Zayin. Amid Aleph. The fourth. We're in the fourth now, but we start in the third line. Tan Rabbani, have it there. Tan Rabbani, Halil Zeh, Mi Amru, Rabbi Lezer, Omer, Moshe Yisrael, Amruhu, B'Shasha, Amdu, Al Hayam. Hey Amru, they, the Yidden, the Moshe and the Yidden said, Lo Lanu, Hashem Lo Lanu. Go ahead now, Meishi.
Meshiva Ruach HaKodesh.
Hana.
What does Meshiva Ruach HaKodesh mean?
Moshe answered Ruach HaKodesh, meaning the Ruach HaKodesh answered, Amro lehen, and said to them,
Lama'ani, Lama'ani.
Lama'ani. So that's a pasuk in Yeshaya. Yeah, pasuk in Yeshaya. So it says, just like the lashon ma'ani, we say laman shemecha. Laman is for the sake, right? Laman cha. When we say to HaKadosh Baruch, we say laman cha. We say that, if I'm not mistaken, when we say the additions during the Sos Mei Tshuva, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, laman cha elokim chayim. For your sake, elokim chayim. Laman cha, for your sake. So lamani, Ruach HaKodesh is saying for my sake, right? We said Lo Lanu Hashem, but it's not for us Hashem, and Ruach HaKodesh was, I think the pshat is this, Ruach HaKodesh was agreeing and saying Laman Chi, it was for my sake. Yes, it's for my sake. We're saying the Halil for my sake.
The Rashi seems to be
Let's see, where's the Rashi?
I mean, the Rashbam.
The Rashbam, the bottom. Everyone has the Rashbam there. It's the bottom. We have in Psachim, in the Arvi Psachim, we have the Rashi on top, and we have the Rashbam on the bottom parish, right? So here we have the Rashbam. Okay. Yeah. Yisrael, you want to read that? Everyone have the Rashi? The Sha'amdu Aliyam?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Sha'amdu Aliyam, we're standing on the Red Sea. La'aka Sha'amdu after they passed. La'aka Sha'amdu after they passed by. You can see this isn't Tehillim. Kuf Yudalet, Hayam Ra'ah. The Yam saw by Yanos.
Yanos, right.
Rejoice, right?
The Yam saw and fled.
Fled.
So we say it in Hallel too. That was also in the B'tzeis Yisrael Mitzrayim. Yeah. So it says. So the Rashbam is saying, when did they amdu al Yam? That means la'akisha avru. We say after they passed through the Yam and they were on the shore of the sea. The Ksiv, it says Hayam ra v'yanus. The sea saw and fled. Okay, go ahead. What does that mean?
Lolon is not for us, right?
Yeah, not for us. Why?
Lest Paro come and the soldiers come after them.
Right. Lest that that Paro should pass through and his troops shall pass through and follow after them, after the Yidden. A very good question. What's the shot in the Rashbam here? What are we davening for here? Lo lanu, right? Meaning
Not for us.
not for us. What's not for us? What's not for us? Okay, so let's hold on to the question. We're not going to be able to answer that right now. Right, that's going to take a little bit of Ian, right? So we will mispalel. I mean, I would guess we mispal that the mitzvah shouldn't come up out of the yam and chase after us.
Yeah.
Right? Lo lanu, don't do it, lo lanu, meaning whatever the lo lanu, it shouldn't be done for our sake. Lo lanu Hashem, don't let it happen to us, don't let it happen to us. Right? And they said, Kadosh Baruch Hu, Ruach HaKodesh answered, I'm going to do it for my sake, So that this whole discourse, Shakvatar, is taking place here. It's not a Pasha Zach. You have to understand what's going on here between what did we see, what were we praying for, what did Hashem answer. So if we have time, we can go into a little bit more. But now we're just opening up the sugya. Let's continue in the Gemara. But that answers the first question. They said this when they were not in the Yam. They said this when they were already out of the danger of the Yam Suf. But they were still afraid of the Mitzrayim coming after them. Right? There's another Gemara that says that we can maybe tie this in. We'll understand it's worthwhile exploring this a bit. Okay?
Probably along the lines, if you do it for us, maybe we're not deserving, but you should do it on Hashem.
Right, so it could be that we were mispal, don't do it for our sake, because we could be that, as Moti said, we're not really deserving that the Mitzrayim should be destroyed. So rather do it for your sake, for the Kiddush Hashem. That pasuk in Yeshai actually is talking about Kiddush Hashem. We'll, if we spend more time on this, we'll go and understand the pasuk in more depth. This is also going to tie into the Gemara that explains that really, when we came through the Yam Suf, the same side of the sea that we went in, we came out of, right? We made a circle, we made a horseshoe into the sea and out and up on the same shore that we went into. That one of the reasons being is that we didn't use the Yam Suf as an escape route. Hashem did not want that the Yam Suf should be an escape route, right? Rather, the Yam Suf should be a way of taking care of our enemies, right? And therefore we came out on the same shore that we went in on, because we didn't escape, we simply just went in order that our enemies could follow in after us, and then it would be destroyed. Okay, we'll discuss that more as maybe time goes on. Let's continue on with the Gemara. So this is the first. Rabbi Eliezer Omer Moshe of Yisrael said this Hallel, B'shas sha'amdu al hayam, when they were on the shore of the Yam, after they passed through, and they said, Lo lanu Hashem lo lanu, Meshiva Ruach HaKodesh va'amra lahem. Ruach HaKodesh answered and said to them, Lamani, it's for my sake, it's for my sake. Meaning, I would guess what's going to happen to the Mitzrayim, it's not going to be in your merits, it's going to be for my Kiddush Hashem, the Kiddush Hashem that's going to follow because of it. Okay. Lamani manli eset, that it'll be done for my sake.
That's like when you went into Pesach, it's
Also. Very good point. Okay, that's the first answer to the Gemara. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, go ahead, Yisrael.
They said Halal, B'shar she'amdu alehem. Malchai Canaan.
Okay, so Rabbi Yehuda says that there was Yeshua and Yisrael, and then the Jews. They said this Hallel at the time when they had to go into battle against the Malki Canaan, the kings of Canaan. When they were coming in to conquer Eretz Yisrael, they had to fight against the kings there. So they said Hallel at that time. Let's take a look at Rashi, Rashbam here. Yeshua b'chol Yisrael amruhu. This also, and the Dibra Maskil is a different girsa than the Gemara. It says Yeshua v'chol Yisrael, and all of Yisrael said it. Okay, Rashbam had a different girsa apparently. Also, if you look at the Rashi first. Rashi's a bit shorter. Yeshua v'chol Yisrael amruhu. Having Yisrael up on the top there, Koloimer.
Koloimer means af Yisrael v'Yeshua amru. Even Yisrael and Yeshua said it. Chen perish Rabbeinu. So Rabbeinu explains. Okay, so that was basically Rashi. Rashi said the Kolomer to Rashi on top of it that Af Yeshua also, meaning I think that they learned Pshat based on this Rashi, the Lashon Kolomer Af, meaning that not that it's a machlokus here, not that the Rabbi Eliezer held it was the time of the Yam Suf, and Rabbi Yehuda said it was the time of Eretz Canaan going in front of you. Each one is saying that another is adding his Mosif. It's not arguing and saying, no, it's the first opinion, it's not that way it is. It's saying we're Mosif. First one said it was Moshe and Yisrael at the time of the Yam Suf. Rabbi Yehuda said in addition, it's Af, Rashi says Af, also they said at the time of Yeshua. And then, so that's Rashi. Became Pish Rabbeinu, which I believe that's a reference to Rashi. Right? So the Rashbam continues below here. Leave. The Rashbam
clear to me.
It doesn't seem that way to me. I mean, he's really arguing on Rashi. Okay, why?
אם כן נפסק בחולון אתה צריך לפרש. All of these you have to explain.
Farish. Okay. Meaning, if I go ahead, let's continue.
אם כן, מה בינינו? What's the difference between these two?
I think it's like this. If you learn the first one, does Memachlekes means also, so then the other ones, a whole bunch of Sisra, also, other side is no Machlekes.
No machlokas. Right. Meaning, if the first one was no machlokas, you have to say all of them were no machlokas. So that says, alone here, in she'im came the kulan atet tzurch lefarish came. In all of them, you'd have to explain it. Okay, and if that's the case, if that's the case, my minayhu, what would be the difference between all of them? Ubein chachamim and the chamim. We didn't get to the chachamim yet. We'll get there. Hold on. Let's see the Gemara right there. Then we'll get back to the Rashi.
Read over?
Yeah. Okay. If you like to take over a bit. Okay, after Rabbi Yehuda Oimer Yeshua Yisrael Amru B'Shasha Amdu Alei Malki Kanan Heim Amru Heimrum. Go ahead.
He's making a shortcut of Chulu.
Right.
In other words, the answers are the same.
Right.
The whoever's saying it says Lailanu and
Ruach HaKodesh says.
Lamani.
Meaning, so I guess at the time of Yeshua, they had to go into battle. So we're saying, they were mispalo. Go according to the same shot that we had. They were mispalo. That they should take care of the enemies. So therefore, right, don't do it for our sake. And then Ruach HaKodesh answers, no, Lamanti, I'm going to do it for my sake, right? So I'm going to do it for the sake of the Kiddush Hashem. Okay.
She was in the Vienna, bargaining with the husband. Then the Mechumah with Sisra. Shashaman Dalayim Sisra, the battle was with Sisra. He with now again. He Mamre Bagunim, and Yahokosh Mishima, and Mani.
Okay, so it's again, right, so again, now this apparently, the time of Sisra, is this before the battle or after the battle?
No, he doesn't see it explained.
Not explained here. Shasha Amdu, right? Again, and also by Yeshua, is this before the battles or after the battles?
So the praise is after the battle. You're praising God, it's going to be after the battle. Why would you praise God before the battle?
Okay, so but
Because before the battle, you're praying, Tachanonim, that you should answer your tefillos.
right. But by the Yam Suf, it was before the destruction. It was before the destruction.
I think Rashi explained the answer because there was Yosha later.
Okay.
So when was this? So Rashi,
It was after they came through. After they came through.
On the other
But they
side.
were afraid that the Mitzrayim was still chasing after them.
It probably comes before Yosha.
It came before Yaz Austria, but it was while there was still a threat. Why the Yam Suf, according to
they were coming out like.
yeah, but there was still a threat, correct?
Kinda, yeah.
So now what do we say about Canaan?
This was before Paro came.
Yeah, before.
They were scared. Yeah.
And they were scared, right?
That's-
They were scared. It's
It
move
makes,
on.
it makes sense what you're saying because Chizkiah was punished for not saying Shir after. So
After.
it makes sense that this was said before.
Okay.
Because if he said Hallel afterwards, then he would have considered Shira.
Oh.
So it makes sense that he did say Shira. So that means he said this before,
said this
and then that's what I.
Okay, good. Hold on to it. So again, apparently, based on what the Rashbam said, right, that first very key Rashbam, Sha'amdu al Yam, Sha'avru, after the Yidden came out of the Yam. Now, Hayuravi Yanus, V'yispal Shalo Lanu, Pen Yavur, Paro, V'chalo Achrehem. That was at the time of the threat. So if all of them are going to be in the same theme, so I would say by Yeshua, before the threat, before going into battle, by Devorah and by the threat of Sisra, right? Before the threat. That's what I would say, just the first time through with this Gemara. Okay, so we're saying this Lolanu Hashem before the threat, and Meishi Ruach HaKodesh says, well, Lamanhi Esa, I'm going to do it for my sake. It's for my sake it's going to happen. It's going to happen for my sake.
L'chor, it all appears to be before the threats. Okay, let's continue on with the Gemara. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. Oh, so it says, Rabbi Elazar at the time, right? Chesky was said.
They all died in one night, the whole regiment.
Right. That also we seem to agree that that's before the threat. Or
I think so. As we said, because he didn't say sure, he was punished for this, so it has to be before.
So he said it. He said a He said a Hallel. He said yeah. Okay. He said Lolanu. He lost at least Lolanu. He said
Right.
Lolanu. Okay. So Amru Lolanu. He said Lolanu. Umeishi Baruch Hakodesh says Lolanu. Okay. Next mandom, Rabbi Akiva. So we have another case of right, Chanina and Shlomo Azariah at the time that they were.
This seems to be before the fire.
Yeah. I guess so. Very good. Good. Okay. Next mandomer.
Because otherwise you would say B'tach Eish or something.
Good. So you have Rabbi Yossi Gilili brings down Mordechai and Esther. Homru B'Shah, they said at the time, Olayim Homed, a Russia. They said Lolanu, and Meshi Baruch HaKodesh, and said Laman Himanti. Yes, sir. Okay, now the Chachami, this is why, to get the Rashbam, we need this. Now you have to understand, follow, be careful with this next part of the Gemara, because then this is going to fit into the Rashbam. We have to go back after this to the Rashbam. Go ahead.
That's it, the kind of the Nevi'im. This is Shomerem on everything, as I'll compare it with culture and social, so the Chachamim learned that you say it always.
Right.
So therefore, he wants to say that the ones before were on each one, not all of them together, because if not, there's no machlokes, there's a Tanakh.
Okay, so
repeat that again?
No, you can say it over.
Okay, let's look at the good. No problem, don't worry. Let's look at the Gemara again. Chamim Omrim, right? Chamim Omrim, Nevim shebenehem tiknu lehem liyisrael. So the Chamim say, who said this Hallel? This Hallel that was said, the Lolanu, is the Nevim amongst them made a decree, an enactment, liyisrael, for the Jewish people. Shahayu Omrim oiso al kol perik uperik, on each and every event, al kol tsar v'tzar, on every distressful situation, shelo tavo aleihem, that it shouldn't happen to them, to Israel, to the Jews, that it should not happen. That's obviously before, in anticipation of the threat, or during the time of the threat. Ukashene galin omru also al gulosa.
They said it twice.
A very good question. A very good question.
It says, Ushniga omrim oto al gulatan.
Right.
So it's they said it again.
Again.
But by Yam Suf, we don't hear that they said it again, because they said as Yeshua Moshe, is that considered?
It may not be Dafka.
Lolanu even.
Right. It may be that they need to say a shira,
Okay.
a shira
Shira.
in Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And
That's
you know,
before
Oz Shira is very relevant to what happened.
Right.
That's the
So
first
it's
part.
Right.
right.
I accept that.
Tiknu
If say it's a general Shira, then
Right.
you want to say for that moment.
Lehem liyisrael shaya omrim oiso al kol perik uperik al kol tzara v'tzara. Shelo tavo aleihem liyisrael. It shouldn't occur. It shouldn't happen to Yisrael.
That's a school that he went to war. She said, no.
When they're redeemed, when they're victorious, whatever happens, when they're saved, Omrim Oiso Al Gulosa. They say it apparently a second time on the redemption that took place.
Nothing inside.
Now,
Sometimes it's about again. They say Kuf Aleph.
God bless you. What does it say? The Kufal, they just say, they say this. When they have it, not to say, right there.
I don't think there is so much kids over having a nice,
Yeah, you only leave out.
then I jump in, and after that, the Bartova, I send out the.
So now let's go back and look at the
It's religious
Rashbam.
now.
Okay, this Rashbam, Yeshu b'kol Yisrael Omru. Yeah. Amram, you want to take over a bit? We do Rashbam there. You see that Rashbam?
Yeshua v'chol Yisrael amru.
Right.
Kelomar, Af Yisrael v'Yoshua amru, Cain perish Rabbeinu. That even Israel and Yeshua and Israel also said it. That's what Rabbeinu explained. V'lo nehira li she'im Cain v'kulan achad tzarich lefarik.
Kulam ata. Kulam
Achad
ata.
tzarich lefarik. And it seems to me.
Really.
It doesn't seem to me.
That's the pshat. Doesn't seem that that's the pshat.
Because if you say that, then you have to say the same thing for each one of them.
Meaning that it
That
was.
it was said either before or after. Right?
Or, apparently, but like it was before. It was before.
Also.
Also before
When
or
they're
on
faced,
that's right.
when they're faced with the threat, that's when it was said.
The im came man b'nahar. So what is the difference between them? ובין החכמים and between the חכמים שאומרים נביאים שביניהם אמרו, that says that the neviim among them told them to say.
Yeah. What does it mean?
ואתה למימר, you would have to say שתכל הני דאמרם לאל אמרו על צרתם. That's it.
Sorosan, al sorosan.
Al tzaratan. That because of this, it would seem that they would have to say it upon their tzara.
Meaning they
Troubles.
Fikin explaining the Chachamim.
shot in the Chachamim, meaning you the lememra the kol hani amram le'el amru al sorosan. If you can explain that all the cases we gave, except for the last one of the Chachamim, that they were said on the tzarasan, on the distressful situation. Yeah, if they were said because of the distressful situation, they're shahari. Go ahead.
Shahari tiknuhu neviim lekach, because the neviim decreed so. Elakol echad min ha tanaim
That's the time.
hachi kayam le marbia. But each one of the tanaim hachi kayam le marbia.
Mirabiyah, right? It's well, echad min tanoim. The tanoim that were mentioned here, right? All except for the last opinion of the Chachamim, hachi kimle mirabiyah. They knew it because from the Rebbe. They had a Kabbalah from the Rebbe. So not a Pashut Rashbam. How do we approach this Ramdam here? Yeah.
Kolam Bechachomim, what did the Chachomim say? In the Neviim Shebenemru. Also the Maimon the Chachomim are coming to say the Kolan and the Amram and the Amru. All these said, Al Tzaros, and why? Shall I take the Neviim? That's the shit of the Chachomim, that the Neviim had Kolan, you should always say it. The Kakach. No Wasip Shak, and not also. He said Sisra, he said sure. Where do you take this from? The different. I mean, everybody had his Kabbalah that the Shira was on. One says Nevi'im, one says Moshe, one says.
Okay. So now, so how do we understand the whole? Let's look at the whole sugi here. We had the question: Tanarabana Halo Zeh Mi Amru. Who said this Haleh? That was the question of the Gemara. Who said this Haleh? Who said Haleh? So Rabbi Eliezer said it was Moshe. At the time of the Yam Suf, along with Klal Yisrael, Rabbi Yehuda said it was Yeshua at the time of going into Eretz Canaan. Right? Rabbi Eliezer
That's the
said.
question. Halal was written by David Melech.
Yes.
How can Moshe Rabbeinu say something that
Not all of it.
There are a lot of Tehillim's written before that.
before
Yeah.
that?
It was all-
It says, there was something they say, it was
Yeah.
other.
This version of Shabbat.
He collected.
That's right.
He wrote many.
That's right. He was a big
But
part.
he collected.
That's right.
There was a tradition of Tehillas being
right.
said
That's right.
earlier
That's
that
right.
were significant enough that people kept them and remembered them. And when David was writing Tehillim, he says, "Oh, here are the ones that
That's
we've
right.
already been saying, so we're going to add them
That's
to
right.
the group." And he wrote the others.
That's
So
right.
the fact that it was from Moshe or from Yoshua or
That's
from
right.
Avram
For
doesn't
the
cause a problem.
Moshe, for the Moshe,
For Moshe, that's
came
right.
with them.
Right. So like many of the expressions could have been known and passed down from generation
Right.
from generation. And finally, as Alon said, the David Melech finally codified it, so to speak, into what we know as, and then it finally got its final authorization by the Anshe Knesset Gedolah. Anshe Knesset Gedolah codified, authorized all the Chaf Dalet swine that we have, Bisman Azet. So each one of the Tanoim was saying it. They're giving a different example. Now the question was, the question was, if it's like the Pshat in Rashi that Rashi said, Yeshua, Rabbi said Yeshua v'Kol Yisrael Amru, Kolomer, Af Yeshua v'Kol Yisrael Amru. Even Yeshua, meaning it wasn't just Moshe and Klal Yisrael at the Yam Suf. Even Yeshua and Klal Yisrael said it. So I'm still not 100% clear what the objection of the Rashbam is to Rashi. I mean, what's the objection? He says, Kolomer, Af Yisrael Yeshua Amru became Perish Rabbeinu. That's, I assume that's Rashi. Lo nearly. Why? She'im Kain bekulan ad tzorach lefarish. Yeah, the Rashi over here, right? Rashi over here. As if that's the case, right? Bekulam ad tzorach lefarish came. Vim Kain my benayu ubein kachamim. Shomrim Nevim b'neihem amruhu. The Nevim amongst them, they said it, that it was supposed to be said, I'll call Tsar V'Tzar.
Most of them, we have to say it together.
Yeah.
It's coming to say.
Asi lamei with the call Hanida Amron La'el Amruhu Al Tsar son. Yeah.
Continue.
Shahari Tiknu Levim Lekach. The Levim were the ones who established it. Ella call Echad Min Tanoim Haki Kim Le Mirabe. So how do you understand the Rashi?
And the Rashbam is saying that if you go like Rashi, that after each one is adding, it's the same thing as a Chomim that say that Nevi'im said on every Torah you should say it. So it's the same. So therefore the Rashbam is letting the Tanakama, they don't say also. Each one says no, Moshe said it, no, Shua said it, Sisra. From where did they take it from? The different opinions. Everybody had his Gemara.
So it's two different ways of approaching the Gemara. According to Rashi, it's examples that are given, and at the end, right, could be based on the previous examples. The Chachamim, through the Nevuim, the prophets, they understood that it has to be for a whole now instituted for Klal Yisrael.
You don't say Chetzi Hanan. We don't say this.
Because it's not a tsar. It's not a tsar. Exactly. That's what you were saying. Exactly. Yes, that's right. It's not a tsar. Okay, why on Yom Tov we do, but that's another story why Yom Tov. Because also because it's Yom Adin. Yom Adin. That's the Shavuos and Gita and Sukkot B'mayim. So it's Yom Adin. And yeah, so again, so just to clarify, then we'll have to stop, and we can maybe continue and work on this a bit more tomorrow. According to the Rashbam, it was that the Nevi'im, the Chachamim and the Nevi'im amongst them, they understood from the previous previous events, that was something, if Moshe did it the Yam Suf, then Yeshua understood from Moshe Rabbeinu that was a tie as appropriate, and finally all the way down the line till Mordechai and Esther. They all understood it was an appropriate thing to say at the time of a tsar. Right? So therefore the Chachamim and the Nevi'im, they instituted it for Klal Yisrael. I'll call Perik and Perik, I'll call Tsar V'Tzar, and then when not only before the threat and during the threat, but also after, for Hashem helps us, we also say the Halal, the Lolan. And Rashi is explaining that each one is saying there was each one individually. And how do you explain that they said it? They had a Kabbalah. This one, each Tana had a Kabbalah from the Rebbe. Oh, excuse me, the Rashbam. So how did they say previously? They said it previously because that was the Kabbalah that they had.
According to Rashi, you have to say that is no
Yeah,
just like a summary.
Yes. Okay, very good. Mitzvah Shem will do another review of the Gemara tomorrow and add some more to it. Mitzvah